To make it easier for you to understand what it's all about, I have created a personal example here, the ICA Maxi example. So you can see it's a question of interpretation where you need evidence to prove your point. The only difference here is that the evidence used in a courtroom is, of course, real facts. And in a literary analysis, it is only the quotes that serve to help you. So imagine yourself being a prosecutor, and your task is to convince the judge that Mr. X is guilty of having robbed ICA Maxi. So first of all, ask yourself, is it really important to know anything about Mr. X's life, marital status, children, accommodation, nationality, etc., to prove that he is guilty of this crime? Certainly not. However, there might be an aspect of leniency, that means to be kind, regarding the actual punishment due to the former mentioned factors. The only thing you, as a prosecutor, need to think about is a good statement that you will support with hard evidence, and it's the same thing when you write a literary analysis, actually. It's not interesting if the author has a certain background or something like that, because you are interpreting it. So in this case, with the prosecutor, the statement is, evidence proved that Mr. X is guilty of robbing ICA Maxi the 27th of December 2015. And then the prosecutor will focus on his evidence. DNA was found at the scene of the crime, and he will discuss it. Secondly, there were eyewitnesses that identified Mr. X as thief. So discuss that. Is it probable or not? And the third evidence is that the stolen goods was found in Mr. X's car. Discuss that. Has somebody else placed it there, or is he guilty? So conclusion. Summarizing the evidence, the DNA, the eyewitnesses, and the stolen goods, all of this proves that Mr. X is proven guilty. But it's not until after all of these evidence have been presented and the prosecutor, she or he, states that this statement is correct, he is guilty. Then a personal opinion is can be presented. Therefore, I think Mr. X should be sentenced to jail for 6 months. Or regarding the fact that Mr. X has no past criminal record and is only 20 years old, perhaps the punishment will be different. But still, the actual idea in one page is equivalent to what you're supposed to do in a literary analysis, apart from the fact that these evidence are hard evidence, while they, in a literary analysis, are just quotes. But do you see what I mean? I really, really hope so. Because if you think about this, it's not as difficult as you think. It's a challenge, yes, to find a good thesis statement that you're supposed to support or to prove. But if you simplify it like this, it's easier. Take the things that you found while you've read your book. Look at the different notes you have. Look at the quotes that you have found. Think about what you would have liked to prove. And then you see a pattern. And don't be afraid of take away things that you like, but perhaps they not support your thesis that much, because then you can discuss more on depth. Don't be scared of taking away things. You will get some other ideas, and perhaps just leave it for a day, go and think about it, talk to your friends. What do you think? Does this sound reasonable? And I'm sure you will do fine. So, what should you think about when you formulate a thesis statement? It should never ever be the same as the main message of the book, because unfortunately, if you do, it will make you fall in a trap, because that will make you retell the book or the plot. So choose an aspect that is more specific. It doesn't have to cover the entire novel. You can pick one certain thing that you've found. And remember, your introduction should include a very clear, concise, and easy to understand thesis that you can relate to throughout your entire essay. It must be very specific. I would like to really emphasize that. Specific, narrowed down, and focused on one particular aspect of the novel, not everything. And it should be placed at the end of your first paragraph, after you have presented a brief summary of the plot and who has written the book, what it's called. So, now we come to a short recap of a literary analysis. When writing an analysis, remember the bulk of each paragraph should be your personal ideas. You should limit retelling the story to the quotations only. Your discussions and the quote should relate to your thesis statement. It's better to use less examples, but expanding your own ideas more, drawing more analysis of each example to strengthen your arguments. And then you will most certainly be able to present a really good analysis. So please keep plot summary limited to a few sentences at the beginning and introduction. You don't need to present any background information about the author. Not at all. Just state who wrote the book. Remember to present the thesis that you can relate to throughout your entire essay. And remember to the structure with the different paragraphs. At the end of each paragraph, relate to your thesis statement. At the end, summarize your arguments, not the plot. And show us, your teachers, how you prove your thesis. And always use formal English. Never include questions or personal point of views, especially not in your thesis. So instead say clearly, on the contrary, it seems like, it is obvious. There is another film here, and that is about formal English. So please take time to look at it, because it will facilitate or make it much easier for you to write, and you can also learn how to vary your language more. But good luck now with the literary analysis. I'm sure you will be able to write a really good literary analysis now. So good luck from all of us here at the teachers at Hermods.